I'm part of the Alchemy tribe. I'm Amani and John's daughter. And this past summer we went on a cross-country trip, spreading the knowledge of what we do here in Hartford and all across the country. And I had an experience at this campground that we went to that summer, and so I wrote a small piece of prose about it, and it's called Visiting a 5-Star Campground. I sit on the pavement beside the tall wooden curb. The concrete is damp, and I feel it seeping through my jeans and onto my skin, but I don't care. I feel at peace here and now in this moment. But that moment passes. I look around me slowly. I witness the power of silence. Then I see the huge RVs and the SUVs fit for 8 people, but owned only by 2. And the lights and the TVs inside the houses on wheels left on and using electricity, and the looks I get as preppy, materialistic people give me as they walk their pampered poodles and smoke some brand name cigarettes. Yes, the moment has passed. My gears are turning, and when they turn, they turn. I think of families of 5 in Africa living in poverty and surviving on only 1 gallon of unsanitized water each week. The billions of plastic water bottles we as Americans use every hour only dig us deeper into the hole we need to get out of. I think of the desperate, destitute families in Bangladesh, Asia, who are taken advantage of working in sweatshops for $1 a day or less. They make the clothes, accessories, shoes for us to wear as Americans, and we pay 30 times more of what it costed to produce. We buy from and support the mega corporations that pollute our environment, brainwash our society, shut up people who have needed to be heard opinions, and take advantage of those in poverty by paying them low-wage jobs, only contributing to our global problem even more. I think of the animals who are dying, and the plants that are becoming extinct, and the coral reefs that are bleaching, and the glaciers that are melting, and the ancient forests that are burning and being cut down. I want to see the world and write of everything, but I fear that by the time I am of the age to do so, there will not be much of the world left. I get up and look at myself in the reflection of the fountain, a few steps away from the damp curb. I sit on the painted white edge, which is also wet due to rain earlier this day. The inside of the fountain is painted and dyed blue to imitate the look of a tropical water. There are statues of little boys and girls dripping their feet into the water and giggling. They are frozen in time. They are only statues, but frozen in time. I touch the water. My fingers smell of chlorine and metal from fuzzy pennies. The fountain is in the middle of the man-made island in between the concrete and the camp office. The grass is along the edge, but mostly there's wood chips. I look at the blue of the chlorine water, pick up an artificially dyed red wood chip, and drop it in my reflection in the white-rimmed fountain. I watch my face circle for a second, then walk off. My feet press onto the black concrete, and little dogs bark at me silently through the windows of the RVs. I find some grass and sit and look at the moon. My moment comes back. It stays for a while, but not too long. Thank you.
It's called The Absence of Soil. Mother Earth, Mother Nature, Mother equates life. As mothers, we are life givers, sustainers of life both in and out of the womb. It is our role, our duty, our gift. Yet many of us have become disconnected from the beauty and power of this aspect of our feminine selves. Along the way, pieces of ourselves have been distorted, misplaced, misconstrued, misunderstood, terrified, tortured, tested, and tried. And although we have come far since the times of the Inquisition, a veil of illusion remains to this day, alluding to the rational parts of our minds that things are different than they actually are. But are they? In the age of consumerism, our minds have become numb with sugar, caffeine, prescription drugs, artificial flavorings, colorings, mind-altering media, mind-controlling media, toxic chemicals infused into every aspect of our daily lives. So much so that many women today participate in the suffocation of their wise woman self. Our voices are silent, our minds are fuzzy, and a layer of complacency has settled in. Yet if we strip away the addictions, the fears, and the confusion, we find that there is something more beneath the surface. You see, deep down, our instinctual, intuitive self knows that things just aren't quite right. In fact, many of us know things that are quite wrong. In a time when the planet herself is being raped at a rate like never before, where natural resources are being consumed faster than they can be replaced, the effects of the warming climate can already be felt and our economy is beginning to fail. We have to look for other options. Clearly, the male-dominated scientific methodologies that dominate our world today are failing us miserably. We will not find solutions to today's problems within the masculine mindset. A feminine voice needs to sound the alarm and inspire a shift back to more natural ways of existing on this earth. If we continue down the path that we are currently on, misguided by money-hungry corporations and mad scientists, we will soon be living in a sci-fi nightmare. I say mad because there are people that actually believe scientific advances is what will save the world from destruction. Let's fast forward a bit and imagine the future where your grandchildren will live that they are designing for our benefit, of course. The year is 2050. The landscape is barren. There are concrete walkways shooting off in many different directions, leading to various multi-story high-rise buildings. Rows of trees, all looking oddly the same, edge courtyards in the distance reminiscent of parks of days past. Something seems strangely different in a hard-to-place kind of way. Just ahead is one of the many hubs that line the horizon. An overwhelming dullness envelops and hues of gray seem to encase the entire area, even from the sky above. Vague memories recall a time when there were skies of blue. Looking down towards the ground, no remnants of green remain. The only vestiges from the past are artificial relics monotonously placed as if a mirrored backdrop. Memory flashes of brilliant colors quickly flitter across the mind in desperate attempts to recall them, but no words exist to describe them. The color palette has been condensed to only a few shades when the era of mass marketing came to an end. People have become so overstimulated and confused that the government decided to step in and put controls on what was permissible. Massive numbers of medicated children created a generation of dependent adults. No longer were there billboards plastered about to confuse the masses, only screens similar to computers of the past that now distributed all the information necessary for one to know. In the beginning, for a short period of time, there were revolutionary environmentalists that were able to use the technology and tools of the past to disperse information. But they were causing such problems that the countries of the world came together and united their superpowers to limit their access. The universal government took over the dispensing of information in the best interest and safety of everyone. The world's much different than decades ago. All the problems of the past have been solved with mass inoculations and universal medical care. Obesity, diabetes, and rare forms of cancer caused by excessively chemically treated foods have been recalled by officials. The manipulative marketing of foods by large corporations has ended, and excessive packaging has been banned in attempts to limit the disposal of waste. There is no room left on the planet for piles of trash. Genetically modified foods have ended world hunger. The GM foods are quite bland to the palate, not quite like the foods remembered from our childhood. Taste is rather irrelevant. It's the caloric intake that counts. It makes feeding our children less challenging of the past when there were so many foods to choose from. There's talk in the future that they will even be able to insert the necessary proteins via injection, so the chore of eating is totally unnecessary. The new human clones they are designing will have an even lower demand for food protein and still be able to function at high performance levels. Interesting how quickly they've been able to perfect the concept of cloning. Only 50 years since they first cloned animals in 2005 that were used for human food consumption.